Our big stat focusing on the Maryland Terrapins. The Terps aren't just 5-0. They are a convincing 5-0. All 5 wins by at least 18 points. It is the first time that has ever happened in the history of the program. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows with Coach Mike Locksley.
That's why I don't smile, because you get out of bounds. If we just get out of bounds like we're coached to do, we get a chance to kick a field goal.
Smile on the way out. Thanks, Coach.
And that gets us to our big interview. It is time for some coach speak with Mike Loxley. And Lox, I know what a great guy you are. You're already smiling. So we get that out of the way. What do you think when you watch that?
Man, I sent Elise a text because I felt the way it played out was as if I was really upset, but I was disappointed that we didn't have a chance to kick a field goal. And we had just went over this with Jay Sean, and when Elise, I talked to her earlier in the day about being a little less angry on the sideline, and it was a great moment. But I told Elise I was sorry for making her go viral.
I'm sure she took it okay, but I do think it's really telling, right? Because you're up 27-3 at the half. And I would say most coaches would be happy up 27-3 at the half. And I would dare say that if this was 3 years ago, let's say, you would have been pretty happy up 27-3 at the half. So what does it say about where you are in building this program that you weren't, that you couldn't get that situation with Jay Sean not going out of bounds there and you not getting a chance to kick a field goal, that you couldn't get that off your mind?
Yeah, it's just, again, the frustration of the coaching this generation of kids is really, really trying because, you go over these things, and these are the types of situations, we practice them on Fridays. They understand what it is we're trying to do, and it's part of the learning process. It's part of the maturation process of our program, but it also is a standard that we've set for ourselves of how we want to play the game, and not taking advantage of the opportunity that we had there with an opportunity to score again. To me, it was a great learning moment, not just for Jay Sean. I actually went over it with our team. We go through our good, bad, and ugly tape on Monday, and it gave the whole team an opportunity to see that these are the things that we practice, we walk through on Fridays that they don't always happen, but they get you when they get you, and it got us in that situation. So it was a great opportunity for us to learn from.
Well, I know there's a lot of good on that good, bad, and ugly tape, too. You're 5-0. What do you feel best about with your team at this point in the season, Lox?
I just like the way our guys are preparing, Dave. The byproduct of winning is what you do Monday through Friday, and we've put together some really good weeks of 3 and 4 consecutive practices. Monday, we try to steal a day. That's our day that we get back in after Sunday being their day off. And so we really try to steal a day Monday with how we practice, and knowing that Tuesdays and Wednesdays are going to be big, hard work days for us. And our players have really embraced that whole process, the walk, more than necessarily the journey. And to me, that's the part that I really like about coaching this group.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on a great start. The one thing that's so exciting, and I'm looking forward to this, having a chance to talk to you, because I got a lot to talk to you about right here. On the field, off the field, we got a lot of stuff in common.
Yeah.
But, the exciting thing to me is the perception for Maryland for a long time has been, boy, you got to go in there and outscore them. And you have got this football team put together right now where you're a complete team. I mean, you are playing defense, you are playing special teams, in addition, obviously, to the offensive explosiveness. So, how rewarding is that when you see the big picture, kind of everything has come together at this point?
Yeah, Coach, you know this as well as anyone, having been really successful in this profession, that it takes some time to get a program to where we have this one. And we're in year 5. And so the expectation, and, I said it at the Big Ten Media Day, and it maybe was taken as if I'm saying we're here and we've arrived. But what I was saying is that this team is now, in my opinion, ready to take the step to where we compete in the Big Ten for championships. And it's taken some time to get it here. A lot of hard work, a lot of great effort. I've had a bunch of coaches that have come through the program, that are in our program, that have played a huge role in it, as well as the players. And so, to see where we sit today, is a testament to the work that was put in by a lot of people and not just myself.
You know what's interesting? I mentioned we have a lot in common. You know, I was a bad offensive lineman at Pitt, and I started off coaching. Don't laugh, River. And then I started coaching the tight ends, and then the last 35 years of my career, my expertise was defense. You were an outstanding defensive back at Towson University. Started coaching defense, the DBs, the linebackers, the D-line, special teams, and recruiting coordinator before you jumped over and became, you know, your expertise being offense. Does that help you? I mean, I just love that in coaching. I mean, it's got to help you when you're looking at a big picture, putting a team together, what type of players you want in the program, have coached everything. I mean, that's so unique, but I think it's special. Does this help you?
You know what? It helps because, number one, Coach, it helps you keep a job. Whenever you need a job, they can't say, well, you've never coached this position. So it's allowed me to have a really diverse resume. But to be quite honest, as you know, Coach, when you've coached on both sides of the ball, and I call down the offense the dark side, you know, when I first went over from defense, you know, after like year 9 or year 10 in this profession to coaching at West Point in a triple option offense, I coached receivers and tight ends. I learned very quickly that offensive coaches give defensive guys way too much credit about why they line up the way they do and what they're reading and what their keys are. And so it's a tremendous different perspective when you played on one side of the ball and you can see what exactly it is you need to do to attack that side. And we even have that here with Josh Gaddis. You know, Josh was a safety, played in the league as a safety, and now he's coaching on the offensive side. And I think it's really unique because of the perspective you get. It gives you a better idea of how you want to attack people. And I've been very fortunate because I've had a chance to coach all the different positions except O-line, which if I had to coach O-line to get hired tomorrow, I'd be able to do it. It just makes you a better coach, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You know, we all know that recruiting is the lifeline for college football success. Well, you're lucky that I'm not coaching anymore in college because that D.C. area used to be mine back in the day, okay?
I heard that.
I'm going back in the 70s now. You were just a youngster back then. But, yes, I came through there, and I played at Pitt with a guy, Al Chesley, and Al played at Eastern. People that probably aren't familiar with that area don't even remember Eastern High School was the school, okay? And Al played at Pitt, and then I became good friends with Willie Stewart, Coach Stewart, and such good friends that I recruited one player, John, to come to Oklahoma State, if you can believe that, and I recruited 2 brothers, Martin and Delmar, to come with me to USC. So, I mean, I love that area. Coach Stewart and he would come to bowl games. You know, I was over his house. He's been to my house. And now I hear that he's involved with you.
Hey. Well, Coach Stu is an icon here. You got Chuck Brown, you got Sugar Ray Leonard, and you got Coach Stu. Those 3 are legendary. Coach Thompson, don't let me leave Coach John Thompson off there as well. But Coach Stu is an icon when it comes to football in this area. The players that he coached, he won a bunch of championships at Eastern before moving over to the rival school of mine. I'm a Ballou High grad, and he took over at Anacostia and had great success. And I do know about your prowess with the Chesley family, and I took some of your work, and I did that with the Davis boys. I did Vontae and Vernon Davis. I did it with the Diggs boys, Trayvon and Stephon. And so it's good to get in those families. And once you get in and you show them that you are who you say you are, you'll get a bunch of players.
Yeah. Well, you tell Coach Stu I said hello. He's a special man.
He is. He comes to every home game. Him and Miss Anita are still doing really well. He's at every home game here for the Terps.
You know, it's interesting you talk about some of those names, and those are guys that you primarily coached when you were an assistant coach. And I find it interesting, Lox, you were a really good coordinator, and then you got a head coaching shot at New Mexico. And I bring that up only to say, you know, it obviously didn't go well, right? You went 2-26 there, and I think a lot of it was stuff that was beyond your control. But even still, like, I know how much you want to be a head coach. And when it doesn't go well, how do you kind of regain the confidence that you know that you can do this? Because you have certainly proven at Maryland, not only can you do it, but you can do it at an exceptionally high level. What was that kind of turning point in your career?
It's what coach just talked about, man. It's that DMV mentality.
Yeah.
We're gritty people here, man, and nothing's ever given to us. Usually we got to either work really, really hard and earn it, or we got to go take it. We face adversity. I mean, growing up in the neighborhood I grew up in, there's not very many that can sit and say that they're running a Division I football program. You learn very quickly that life isn't fair, but you know what? You get knocked down, you get back up. And I look at that New Mexico experience as a blessing, because as I sit here now in my dream job, the things that I failed at miserably at New Mexico have prepared me to be even better suited to run this Maryland program. So, failure is not final, is one of the things I oftentimes talk about, and that I've learned more probably in the 2 years and 4 games I got to lead New Mexico than maybe even the 3 years I spent under Coach Saban at Alabama, because just going through those tough times prepare you for this opportunity. And I'm not going to let this one fail.
Well, you certainly haven't. And Wani was bringing up your defense, and I think Brian Williams is an amazing story here, because he's a guy who you kind of brought along in your staff, and I think you weren't quite sure whether he was ready to be your coordinator. You actually went out and hired someone else, and then odd set of circumstances, that person ends up leaving, and you elevate Brian Williams. And, man, I mean, this defense is incredible, as Wani was outlining. I mean, it's a huge part of the reason that you guys are so improved.
I need to get Coach to stop talking about him so much, man, because everybody's going to come try to poach my D coordinator. But B-Dub is doing a tremendous job. The defensive staff, Lance Thompson, Zach Spavital, Henry Baker, all those guys have done a really good job of preparing James Thomas, of preparing our defense. And what you're seeing, again, is the consistency. And this is something I learned down in Tuscaloosa. We've had some changes at the coordinator positions the last couple of years. But the philosophy of who we are on defense and offense and special teams won't change. But we allow the guy that comes in to add to it, and then also coach it to his personality. And I can tell you that Brian Williams is well respected amongst his players and is well respected amongst his peers as a coach. He has that personality that these kids want to go play hard for him. And right now they're playing at a really high level. They're getting turnovers. They're keeping people out of the end zone, which are two of the most important things, and they're limiting big plays. So really pleased thus far with where we're at. We've got a tremendous challenge ahead of us this week going up to Columbus, and I know our players and our staff are excited about this opportunity.
Hey Coach, one last one here, because I'm just curious, because it's always had the reputation, Maryland, of such good talent, in the Tidewater area. Are you going national recruiting? Real quick, your philosophy, are you staying in a 5-6 state area? How are you getting the good talent, and kind of what you're thinking as far as how to approach it for the university there?
Yeah, so it starts like this, Coach, and again, you're an old big-time recruiter. You get it. The number one reason people choose schools is still proximity to home. And so that 4-hour radius, we take a circle and draw a 4-hour radius around our campus. And if you look at the population that we have here in the DMV, Philadelphia, Jersey, New York, and even down into the Tidewater area, there's a bunch of people, which means there's a bunch of talented players. And so we put our focus there as our primary recruiting area. Now, the secondary areas are obviously where we play, and we play in the Big Ten, and so we recruit the states that are involved in our league. And now, obviously, with us bringing some of the West Coast teams, we'll dabble out there. But primarily, if we can just find a way to get the guys we need within this 4-hour radius, it's been my opinion that we'll have a chance to continue to build a program that will allow you to win championships, because this area has for a long time been known as a basketball area. But I think, unfortunately, a bunch of other schools are starting to find out that pretty good football players are here, and the coaching. You look at the youth football programs in this area that are really successful. We've got about 4 or 5 high school programs that are nationally ranked. So we don't have to go very far to find a player. We just got to continue to show that we have the resources and the ability to develop players for the next level and earn degrees.
Coach, one last one for you, and you were talking about the challenge ahead this weekend against Ohio State. What stands out when you evaluate the Buckeyes?
This is a unique Ohio State team, because very rarely do you see so many 4th and 5th year starters, guys that have been around a long time. When I look at some of the guys that are lining up for them, and these guys typically have the ability to leave early. So it speaks volumes to maybe the type of program Ryan's created over there, to where they've got all these 4th and 5th year players that are used to winning. They know what it's like and they know what it takes. You know, obviously number 18 is a problem for any and everybody. You know, Marvin Harrison as a receiver is as talented as a receiver as that we'll face. You know, they got a big offensive line. You know, 44 on defense is a problem. It's your typical Ohio State team, man. I've unfortunately had the privilege of having to compete against these guys a long time, having been at Illinois and now here. And so they are the Ohio State teams that we've seen in the past. But I can tell you that, you know, our team is excited about this opportunity. And, you know, I would hope that as I talk about this DMV thing, you know, we've got a little bit of pride about ourselves, and hopefully, you know, we can put together a great week, go up to Columbus and try to do something really special.
Mike Loxley, looking forward to that game. Really fun to visit with you. If you're smiling on Saturday night, then we'll know you've really done something, right, Coach?
Yeah, it'll be a real smile. I'll tell Elise I said thanks for being a good friend.
All right, take care, Lox.
Thanks, guys.